Judge!
Hello and welcome to the Cinema Judge. Thanks so much for stopping by. Now, if you're a first-time listener, I'll briefly tell you what we do here. We love movies. We like to share movies with you. The studios, they send me video clips, interviews, on-the-set footage, red carpet footage. I put it together to make one cohesive, for lack of a better word, infomercial. I give it to you, the jury, and you make up your own mind. I'm not here to yell at Hollywood, yell at actors, any of that stuff. Leave that to the professionals. I just want to share movies with you, because we've all walked different paths. Who am I to tell you not to see a movie or to see a movie? That's not my jam. I just want to give you the evidence. Because consider this a movie oasis. It's a noisy world out there. I just want to give you a place that you can go away and hide and just collect information, because any movie is somebody's favorite movie. Because in the end, it's like this. It's really simple. We all want to spend our hard-earned money wisely. We all want the same thing, an enjoyable movie experience. Now, speaking of said experience, approach the bench today. We have the long-awaited sequel to Black Panther. This is the trailer for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
His people did not call him general or king. They called him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god. Killing him will risk eternal war.
He's coming for the surface world.
We know what you whisper. They have lost the protector. Now is our time to strike. Show them who we are.
Now, this movie is directed by the incredibly talented Ryan Coogler. He also directed another incredible film, the 2015 film Creed. And he's also, not just that, but a great writer. And this guy, he's going to have a great career. I mean, he already has had a spectacular one, but he's just begun. He's going to just soar and just do incredible things. And that's what gives me hope. Because sometimes you're like, hey, who's next? Who's coming up? He is definitely the future of cinema. And he has such a great eye, a great voice, and passion for what he does. So as we all know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know already, because we all know he's just going to be involved in this no matter how long it goes, whether he directs every episode or not, or every movie, I should say. Who knows? Because, every director, they need to, spread their wings. But, in some way, shape, or form, he will always be involved in this franchise because his fingerprints are all over it. It's basically, all their DNA thrown into this kind of movie, and it's just so rich and so full of so much information, and just, it's one of those rare movies where everybody could just get behind. And this guy, he's just going to go and I can't wait to see what he does. But first, let me just tell you the tagline to this movie. The people of Wakanda fight to protect their home from intervening world powers as they mourn the death of their king. So coming up first, from the red carpet, we're going to hear from him, just talking about gratitude and just being able to be here and tell his story. And it's just a great interview. And then right after that, his co-writer, Joel Robert Cole. And then we're going to hear from the great Angela Bassett and producer Nate Moore. I'm going to just stay out of the way on this and just have them tell you what's going on. Here they are.
Yeah, it's a feeling that starts and ends with gratitude. You know, I'm thankful to be able to do it again. Thankful to have a place that feels right to express our artistry and the fellowship with other artists and crafts people. It's a blessing to have this job, a blessing to have this opportunity, a blessing to be, you know, telling this story. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, like, it's nothing like the opportunity to reconnect with people after so much time has changed, and a lot happened since we released the last film. You know, you had the pandemic and all types of different things that transpired personally, interpersonally as a society. So it was really heartwarming to get back with the same folks and to see how we grew and changed in that time apart. And also, like, it's kind of our duty to pay it forward, to open it up to more new worlds, you know, for the audience and for ourselves.
It's amazing. It's been a journey getting here and seeing everyone that has worked so hard on the film, and you know, celebrating Chad is such a big thing for us, and to be here and that kind of optimism and the kind of joy of it's amazing. And we really just can't wait for, you know, the movie to be out there and for people to see what we've done and to honor him, and so it's exciting. It's really exciting. It's put a big smile on my face. We expand the world. We expand the world to telecom. Like we're there's an underwater world that, you know, that no one knew was there, and so the idea of kind of expanding the world of Black Panther and then the MCU is wonderful. There's new characters to explore. Namor, Namora, Atuma. There's all these wonderful characters. We're just proud of being able to tell another story that speaks to what the first film spoke to in a lot of ways.
You know, I'm sitting upon this throne, so I have to bring it. I have to bring everything that I have up to this moment, And then, of course, we're very emotional. Some of our, you know, cast members were very, you know, felt so deeply. And it's how do you process and use that and maybe put it in the work and put all those feelings that's so true and honest instead of trying to get rid of them or push them to the side. Sometimes you can use them for the good of the work. So I was there for that also. And then we also had young ones who, you know, individuals who are new to this MCU journey and new to Wakanda. And so it was about embracing them and welcoming them. And that's what a mom does.
It's cool. I mean, there's a pressure, right? Because people love the first movie and you don't want to fumble the ball, but you also know that there's a love for this world. And to get a chance to expand not only on that world, but also introduce the world of Talokan and Namor and these Talokanil people steeped in Mesoamerican culture is really special, because I think not only are people going to get to fall in love with Wakanda again, but maybe find a new favorite place.
And that's what's really cool about this movie. They do go other places. They just don't stay in one location. They are bringing in different aspects of the Marvel universe. That's why I'm trying to step back as much as I can, because I don't want to give any spoilers, because a movie experience should be enjoyed as much as you can without hearing any other exterior information. But now up next, we have a featurette. Now in this featurette, the studios, they send us this pre-packaged deal with interviews, behind the scenes footage, and stuff like that. And on that note, if you do ever want to watch the TV version of this, go to Bloomington, Minnesota's webpage, or go to bit.ly/cinemajudge. bit.ly/cinemajudge. This and a whole bunch of other shows will be there. So in case you want to hear, not just hear what you hear in here, but see what they're showing while they're talking about this, you can check that out. So in this little package, you're going to hear from cast members and everybody talking about how this movie was a major tribute to Chadwick, because what he left and his legacy that he started for this franchise. but they also talk about where this movie is going and where they start off now. And it's just really great to hear from the cast members just delving into the story.
No woman, no cry. Audiences have embraced Wakanda and Black Panther. And Chadwick, he knew exactly what this story, what these images meant to the world.
We all suffered an incredible loss when we lost Chadwick.
Chad was very much our artistic partner. I would spend time with him, just he and I, talking about like, where we would want to see the story go, how much he admired the other characters and the actors that portrayed them.
In the telling of this story, we were all able to honor him together.
It was really moving to come back to Wakanda and for us to be able to do it with a sense of celebration.
There's so much that's happening in this movie. It's amazing. So many new characters to explore. Just seeing the world of Wakanda again, and then now we're going to this whole new world underwater.
My enemies call me Namor.
Introducing Namor, who's a character we were really excited to portray in the film, arguably one of the oldest comic book characters that there is.
The opportunity to play a character like this, it's a dream.
He's the king of an underwater civilization called Talukan.
He is regarded as a living god.
I need to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy.
The level of care creating this story, it is astounding. And so it just really felt like for all of us to give it everything we have and more.
I'm just so grateful and blessed to be a part of this. The actors were filled with emotion and passion.
I am queen of the most powerful nation, and my entire family is gone.
Altogether, we ended up using those feelings to create something really special.
The action and adventure with the emotional stakes so high. Things are happening up, down, and everywhere.
I'm so excited about the world being able to tap into Wakanda again. How each character takes on new challenges. And I'm excited about us honoring Chad. Yeah, he would want us to just inspire the world.
Now, in this movie, there's a lot of new characters. In one of them, we have coming up next, the guy who plays Namor, the guy that's from the sea. And a lot of times, I know movies, but I don't necessarily know like all the background with all the comic book stuff, because I was never really my jam. But I always kind of turn to a buddy of mine. He has his own podcast, and they always talk about this stuff. So if you're really into the comic version of it, listen to my buddy's podcast. It's Crazy Comics and Stories Podcast. It's KRAY space Z, then Comics and Stories Podcast. Because a lot of times I don't know the fine details that go into all the little Easter eggs for that are in these kind of movies or all those kind of things. So if I really need to dig into it, I talk to Joe, because him and his co-partner on the show, they know all that stuff. So I just want to let you know. But now, like I said, up now we have some interviews from the guy who plays Namor. And it's just really cool to hear him talk about how glad he is to be part of this and just how everybody was helpful. And he explains English is not his first language. So him coming onto this movie and have to do all his dialogue in English, it was a challenge. But he always felt supported and everybody was there for him. It's just really kind of cool to listen to. Check it out.
Namor is this character the people were expecting from him for a long time. And finally he's here, and we have this reinterpretation of the character with a different background, which is a Mesoamerican background. And I think it's really powerful, the experience, because Black Panther 1 was really meaningful for a lot of people. And now be part of this, especially in this frame, Black Panther is the perfect frame for representation, especially this kind of representation. So I'm really proud and happy to be part of this universe. Well, they were fantastic. They made me feel really welcome, all of us. And English is not my first language, so being there, trying to act in English, and then Leticia, especially Leticia, because I share most of my scenes with her. She was there creating this bubble around us, just being, just listen to me. And if I made a mistake, she was just, so quiet and look at my eyes and say, hey bro, let's do it all over again. Don't worry. Let's do it again and again and again and again. Ryan as well, of course. So it was such a great experience and you feel proud of a family. I didn't know how to swim before this movie. And I took some classes. And I never drowned before. And that's it. And then they gave us this train, free diving, and now I'm able to hold my breath for 5 minutes. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud of myself. But yeah, it was so intense and beautiful, all the process. It was a long process, but it worth it. I think they're gonna have a really good time, of course. They're gonna enjoy the movie because it's beautiful. I mean, you have the action scenes, explosions, and all the things that you expect from a superhero movie. But you have many levels, many layers in the movie, in the story. So you can find drama, you can find reflection, you can find multiple things, a lot of things from this movie. And I hope that people can feel identified, represented with pride and dignity, but at the same time, having a good time,
Now, coming up next, we're going to have a set of interviews where people are talking about they were honoring Chadwick and just how important he is to this movie. So first, we're going to hear from Lupita Nyong'o, and then we're going to hear from the producer, Luis Espedito, and then we go back to Lupita, and then we go to one of the other producers, Victoria Alonso. And basically, every one of them are just sharing their stories and how they're trying to pay tribute to Chadwick. But one of the interviews is just so cool from Lupita. She talks about when they were promoting the last movie, and they were on this long flight, and she wakes up, and he's reading this huge book. It gives you a little insight into how passionate he was about just knowledge.
This is a special moment to be coming back to this film and to be doing so without Chadwick Boseman. We very much made this film in his honor and with him in mind. And so we carry him with us, and it really feels special to be back. And I'm very ready to share this with the world. And hopefully it is received with the same amount of love and generosity that we made it.
Well, it's nerve-wracking to come out. Well, this is a very special film. Obviously, the passing of Chadwick, this film really I believe it honors his legacy. Plus it has a very hopeful tone and optimism for the future. So this film obviously is a labor of love. He's looking down on us now, and I hope he's proud.
When we were promoting the last film, we were on our way to South Korea, dog-tired, and I woke up from a nap on the plane, and I looked over to Chadwick, and he was reading a very dense book. And it was some book on African history of some kind. And I was just like, wow, you're reading this at this hour? Like, what's going on? And he was really engrossed in it. And we ended up having a long conversation about what this moment of sharing Black Panther with the world meant to us, what it meant to our people. And it was just a really a lovely conversation. And it was just a reminder that Chadwick was always learning. He was never tired of learning. And he brought everything he learned to his work. He studied humanity. And so, yeah, that's a fun memory.
Mixed emotions. We miss Chadwick, but I think that we have honored him in the best of ways. I think that he is with us in every spiritual manner that you can find. So from that point of view, it's a little bittersweet. But it is a celebration of what's to come. We're incredibly excited to have Namor and his world of Talocan. Talocan is a beautiful, beautiful world that we created.
Now, coming up next, we have a clip for you. Now, in this scene, Namor is approaching the island for the first time. He's walking out of the water and he approaches members of Wakanda.
Stop! Right there! Who are you? And how did you get in here?
This place is amazing. The air is pristine. And the water. My mother told stories about a place like this. A protected land with people that never have to leave, that never have to change who they were. What reason do you have to reveal your secret to the world?
I am not a woman who enjoys repeating herself. Who are you?
I have many names. My people call me Wakandan. But my enemies call me Namor.
The guy just really owns the scene. I just love that when an actor, when they walk onto the screen, you can just feel their energy. And so many people in this movie are like that. When they're on there, they just grab you and just pull you in. It's a rare talent that people have, but having so many people being able to do that is just a major treat. Now, coming up next, we have a lot of interviews. And I'm just, again, let them talk because that's what you come here for. But some things they cover is talking about the new characters, getting people from the Mayan world who know that to help like with language and dialogue, and just how much the studio truly did care and does care about being authentic. So they bring in people to really help the people get it all right. And then they're going to talk about it, kind of one of the core things of this movie is a mother-daughter relationship and how they move forward. Because there's a lot going on in this movie, but there's those little family elements that really, gives that hook into you. There's some really cool things here.
The world of Wakanda is so incredible and so amazing, and we discover another world too here, the world of Namor. Namor being one of our oldest characters. I think he first appeared in 1939 in the comics. So to have these two worlds meet, to have conflict between them, is quite fun and adventure.
Well, I think what they did, on the script with the character is fantastic. But then they hired these advisors that were Mayan. They grew up in Mayan communities. These guys made a fantastic job. They are scholars. So I think all the mix and how they create this world based on Mesoamerican culture, especially Mayan culture, is fantastic. And for me, it's a great opportunity to be part of this world, but as well to be part of this strong and beautiful representation. There was a bunch of stories about him, but the beautiful part of all of this is it was the spark in the eyes of the people when they were talking about him. That spark for me was like, oh my God, this man has to be a giant. So when you go to that set and there was a giant set, it's so great, such a beautiful and breathtaking experience to be there. And all of this team, all of these guys, they were so fantastic. So it's beautiful to be part of this wonderful family. Well, I don't know exactly if we haven't seen it or not, but the thing is, we try to go deep in the emotions and motivation of a simple man, a common man. I know this is a superhero, he has superpowers and everything, but at the end, it was just a simple man with the motivations, human motivation, protecting his family, protecting his people, protecting his heritage and culture, and that's it. And I think in that point, with those motivations, everybody can feel identified. And I think that's the secret and the key of this character. Everybody can embrace the same motifs. Yeah. This is fantastic. It's like a dream. And this movie is so great. And I think to introduce Namor in Wakanda, in the Black Panther franchise is the best moment and the best movie and the best project to be introduced, and I'm so happy and honored with that.
I think you can see how a lot of people protect their nation every nation, Wakanda nation, Talocan nation. So you can see an amazing superheroes, diversity, powerful women. I don't know. I think I'm very happy because you can see in this movie a lot of diversity, new faces, and this is amazing.
Well, I just think the whole film and seeing it, it's a great ensemble. The actors are incredible. The action is incredible. The story, it has everything. It has heart. It has humor. It has action. So I think we deliver.
Yeah, this dynamic is a mother-daughter film, which I think is really interesting. It's all about Ramonda and Shuri trying to get past the loss of T'Challa. And I think that mother-daughter dynamic is as powerful and as resonant as T'Challa and T'Chaka, but also colored a bit differently. And I think the good news is we have some of the most amazing cast we've ever had in a Marvel film between Letitia Wright and Angela Bassett and Denai Guerrera and Lupita Nyong'o and Michaela Cole and Florence Kasumba and Dominique Thorne. And you're like, oh my gosh, what an embarrassment of riches. So to tell this story really felt like a privilege.
Oh man, it's a great opportunity for not only Shuri and Ramonda to come together and explore the ways in which they as mum and daughter struggle through grief. So we see them go through that, and I think it's going to really relate and translate to a lot of people, and a lot of people can be able to grow from it.
Now, talking about all those different kind of relationships, we have a clip for you. Now, in this clip, there's an attack going on. But while that's happening, there's this fun dialogue happening between the people of Wakanda. They're fighting going, hey, I got this new weapon, and I really like it. And the other people are like, well, no. That's not what we use here. We use this instead because it's natural, it's fluid, and all that stuff. It's just that cool banter that family shares together. And here they are kind of like, not fighting amongst each other, but they're just having this discussion while they're fighting these other people. It's just trying to walk that line in these kind of scenes isn't always easy, because we all know that sometimes when people shoot these scenes, they can come off just cheap or, it just doesn't feel right. But if you walk that line and you thread that needle, you could have that perfect balance between action, adventure, what's going to happen, but that little family element that just makes you smile.
Aneka, where is your spear? Shuri gave me this to try. I like them better. Our foremothers gave us this spear because it is precise, elegant, and deadly. It will not change under my watch.
Yes, General. I told you not to bring them.
That was another scene from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Now, you guys know, you come here for information, not to hear me talk or let myself just talk too much. I don't like to give away spoilers. That's not what we do here. So I'm going to try to stand out of the way on this part here, because this is from the red carpet, like most interviews you've heard from the red carpet, and I'm just going to have them talk. You know who they are, and that's why you come here. You come here to hear them, not me. So here is a lot of the cast members from the red carpet. And some of these red carpets are from different red carpets. Sometimes they're from Europe. Sometimes they're from the world premiere. Sometimes they're from Africa. Sometimes they're from the Smithsonian world premiere. They had several premieres. So in here, you're going to hear background noise and everything like that. And sometimes within the same interview stream, they're going to be from different world premieres. So here is more from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
She's in a world that's been very hit very hard by a lot of pain and tragedy. Losing T'Challa, us losing Chadwick, it was a very difficult time, and that's reflected in the film. Like, she is the woman who's holding the country in its secure place. She's the head of the intel, the head of the armed forces, but what she's going through is very much a process of grief as well. But can she really go through it? it was incredible, but it was also, you know, a journey for us of grief and loss, but it was also incredible to be back around each other, knowing what we were doing was entirely about honoring our brother. We're family, you know, it's all family. It's family. So, you know, it's very exciting to be around each other and to spend time back together like this.
It's like coming home. Like, I really love playing that character, love working with my colleagues, and it's just a nice feeling. It's a warm feeling, and it's a safe space to work. It's like a great present. I've never asked for something like that. I didn't know where I would be, where the character would be after movie 2, 3, 4. So it's just nice, and I just really enjoy it. It felt very familiar because we trained together already for the other production. We spent a lot of time together, and yeah, we were also very focused. We were sad, but we were all together, and it was nice, and when we supported each other. It's exciting. Yeah, because people are always asking me, like, how do you continue the legacy? And it's like positive, and it's powerful, and it's like we all move forward, even though it's not always easy. But yeah, I'm excited for the world to see it.
It's so moving to be surrounded by Africans on the continent who are thrilled to have this kind of premiere happen here. It's a novelty, and I can feel it. I can feel the joy, I can feel the freshness of it, and I can feel the excitement. Well, they can expect change. They can expect evolution. They can expect a woman who is at a different stage of her life and is dealing with grief in a special way. My favorite moment? Oh, that's so hard to choose. I would say that I thoroughly enjoyed learning new skills. I learned how to hold my breath underwater for longer than I have ever been able to. I learned how to work underwater. I learned new combat skills. I met new people and worked with new actors that I have come to deeply respect and like, you know? So I feel like this is Wakanda and Black Panther is a gift that just keeps on giving. Man, I can't wait. It feels like a balloon that's about to pop, so I'm very much looking forward to going into that theater and giving it to the people, because that's what we made it for. It felt really good to be back as Nakia. It's the first time well, maybe that's not true. I actually maybe reprised a role before. But anyway, it felt really good to be Nakia again, to watch her grow and to learn from her. Black Panther is loved around the world because it's unique, it's different, it's powerful. Ryan Coogler tells a superhero story with depth, and I think people respond to being treated like they're smart. Love of country and love of self keeps Nakia going. The war dogs are different from the Dora Milaje because they are the spies. They're the ones who go out and keep Wakanda sovereign by letting them know what's going on around the world. Fans can expect for Black Panther Wakanda Forever to move them in ways that they might not be ready for. They can expect a wild ride. We have action under the water, over the land, and in the sky, and they should expect to feel good, I think.
Oh, it's amazing. And this is one thing that I wonder too, because when I go out there and compete and you see some of these fans that are really into it, and so to come out here and see these fans dressed up, I mean, their kids already looking like Neymar out there, and I'm impressed. I just can't wait for them to see this movie and the world to see this movie. I'm excited for everyone to see this, for them to just come back and relive that again, because it seemed like a year or two ago that the first one came out. You know, but it's been a while now, and just some of the things, and then some of the castmates that are missing. It's going to be a journey for everyone to relive all over again, and then to be introduced to the new members. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long road. We actually just finished. We were doing post for a very long time. I think we finished shooting in April, but the film was made with like a family, like a very close-knit family, over a long period of time. It's very heartfelt. It's an epic film. A lot of very talented people spent a lot of time on it. And yeah, Marvel embraced it, and we were able to do our best work. And really tell this beautiful story and pay homage to Chadwick and T'Challa. So, yeah, it feels very fitting, this kind of vibe for a film like that. Yeah.
We're in Nigeria. You know, in Nigeria, you go big or you go big. There's no alternative. So it feels great. You know, Ryan always said to us, you know, we're making a big movie. We're making a big movie. Big movie. That's what he always say to us on set. Big movie, big movie. Made us think big. And this feels like what he was talking about. You know, I was just saying over there, and I got a little emotional. I'll try not to do that again. But I was just saying how much Chadwick would have loved this. You know, this was all what he was about. He had so much honor for the continent, and he really, really looked to authenticate our expression of it. And how he started this whole story with the Xhosa, with John Kani, all of that, making sure we were speaking real African language and representing true African traits. That was really something very important to Chadwick. And so to be here in this sort of a way, it just feels like we're honoring him, and it feels like he's with us, and that's actually the most special part of it. What I love about this film and about this Wakandan world is you're getting to see these women go through a lot. They're going through things that are shifting them and changing them and making them complex characters. And I think that's what we need to see more of. What was the most amazing to me was I was able to lean on other folks. When I was hit with grief or a hard day, I had my cast members to really, really help me, and we helped each other. And that was something I know Chadwick would have been proud of us about, and something that was so true to the Wakanda spirit. It's almost like a movement, right? Because it represents something we just had not seen yet. We just hadn't seen it. We hadn't seen Africans represented in this type of a way, like, you know, where Africans can see themselves, and people of African descent can see themselves represented, and people not of African descent. It's just cool. There's something about the spirit of Wakanda that connects with people, and it kind of transcends being black or being African. And it transcends that, and that's what great storytelling does. And so I'm just really thankful to be a part of that. I think it's something my heart and my soul has wanted my whole life, and to be this much a part of it is really amazing. I don't even know if it's a dream come true or something beyond that.
Now, coming up next from the red carpet, we're going to hear from co-writer, director Ryan Coogler, and he's going to talk about the importance of seeing this on the big screen and even the IMAX, because when they shot this, a lot of the scenes were specifically shot for that format, because seeing this kind of film on the IMAX is something to be seen.
I think fans should go see Black Panther Wakanda Forever on the big screen, because it's a fun time at the movies. You know, it's a film that really benefits from a crowd. You know, and I loved going to the movies growing up. It was a big part of my life. I missed it during the pandemic. I'm happy to be, able to go back to the theaters, and I think this film was made with that in mind. It was made with audiences in mind. I think the film has a lot of scope. You know, we're telling stories of whole nations, whole worlds, and places that we never really been before in the MCU. So it meant a lot to us to make sure that we were embracing a larger format. I think IMAX is, the most immersive way you can watch a film. So we have whole sequences that we film with that in mind. And so I'm really looking forward to people seeing it.
Again, that was Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It goes without saying, this man is so talented. I cannot wait to see where he goes, not just within this universe, but any kind of film, because that's what he has. He has a kind of talent where he could do any kind of genre. And I just can't wait where he goes with this film, because this movie's going to keep going on, because, it's so important. But, eventually he'll do other things, or, that's what directors do. And his talent is so rich, and he's so young. It's going to be so wonderful to see where he goes and what he does. And that goes for the whole cast and crew. This cast is so talented, and they just work so wonderful together. And what really sets this movie apart is they're not just staying in one spot. They're not just going to rehash the same story over and over again. They had to take a big swing in this movie because of losing such a major force in that franchise. They had to create a whole new story, because I'm not saying this is true, but originally the original script was written long ago, before Chadwick died. And he even was offered to read the script, but he told the director, no, first you give it to the studios and have them give you their feedback, and then I will. And sadly, he was never able to read it because he passed before the studio gave it all back to him and, all that other good stuff. Again, I'm not saying that's true, but that's what I read. But they had to then redo it. And originally, it was so difficult for the writing team to move on because they first had to mourn. But then they realized, he wanted this to keep going. So they bared down and had to write a whole new script. And that's so impressive knowing from one script and they totally had to rehash it. But look what they did. Look at the different depths that they've come to and different locations and bringing in new characters. Again, not just staying with the same old, hey, this is what works. We're not going to change it. These guys started creating a lot more in this universe and expanding it. And that just sets you up for unlimited possibilities. And that's what's really going to set this franchise apart. It's going to go and just do different things and bring in new actors. And that's important too, because after a while you just start going, okay, the same people over and over again, which is all well and good. But in this kind of film, they could bring in just so many rich talent and diversity, which is vital for a movie to be successful and keep it fresh. Because we don't want to be bored with the same old things over and over again. And that's not going to happen, I don't think, in this franchise. Because there's so much characters to mine from. The whole universe is so vast. Well, I hope you enjoyed our in-depth look at Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Now, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, any way to improve the show, let me know. cinemajudge@hotmail.com. Because I can't fix what I don't know what's broken. I can't grow if I don't know. You can also reach me at Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to check out any of those other platforms and let me know what you think. And there's several more that I'm on too, but I just want to throw out some main ones there. But in case you want to occasionally to check out something else different, I'm also on TikTok. I usually just give a brief synopsis of the podcast, but I'm there anyway, just in case you wanted to know. But now, it's shout-out time. For all you around the world, I hope my voice finds you well. For every one of you who listens, whether it's at home, in the car, at work, or it might even be 2 months from now, 2 years from now. So wherever, whenever, or whatever you're doing, this is for you. Now this shout out goes out to people who listened to the last episode. And I thank all those who listen to the back catalog. But when I do this, it's just for last week's episode. From the United States, Germany, Philippines, Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, Duluth, Minnesota, San Diego, California, Atlanta, Georgia, Pasadena, California, Littleton, Colorado, Farmington, Minnesota, Holyoke, Mass, Cottage Grove, Minnesota, Frankfurt AM, Maine, Hesse, and I'm going to get this one wrong. This is the one from the Philippines, Bacolod City. So to every one of you, this is just name a few, but that was a lot of them who had multiple listeners. Every one of you, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing the show and listening. The more the merrier. So if you do like it, tell a friend, tell family, or like it, whatever you want to do. Because I love it when I see new listeners joining or when I have multiple listeners from cities. It's wonderful. So thanks to every one of you. But you know what time it is now, guys. It's the Bourbon Shoutout. Now this week I got a few of them because there were so many people I engaged with this week. I just had a blast. We have Marcellus and Dondre. From you guys up front, I had a blast talking to you guys. And I really can't wait to get more of your feedback. And also, Ariella. You were also, when I was talking to you during the week, it was so fun to hear all the stuff that you're involved in. I really enjoyed it. And then Jackie from New York, you were fantastic. And you were just supposed to be in this area, maybe for a few days. But no, it turned into months. And you're handling it like a champ. And it's just fun just to chat with you. So to all of you, thanks so much. And cheers. Now, if you're a first-time listener, this is a part of the show where I talk about music I was listening to when I was making the TV version, which becomes this, the podcast. And when I'm doing that, I'm in my happy place. I got movies and music, and I just edit away. And this one, it took me forever to plow through because I had so many different interviews from different sources. It just took forever. So I went through a lot of tunes on this one. But I had to start off with Bob Marley. because in one of the trailers, as we all know, they have one of his songs playing throughout the trailer. So of course I had to do Bob Marley, because it's in my head. And of course, I'd listened to, I think, his greatest hits. Ooh, it was a couple times, because A, why not? Because he's Bob Marley. And I just had to stay in the in the zone. But then, as time dragged on and I had to pick it up later and all that stuff, I moved on to Ted Lucas. You think, who's Ted Lucas? Well, his song is on a commercial out there right now. And I was like, who is this guy? I would like to find out more about him. So, I did the, search, and you're like, oh, that's that song. So I threw down his album. I think he only has, I don't know if he only has one, but I only found one. But it was just great. That's Ted Lucas. And then, in that vein, then I moved on to The Best of Lobo. And then I moved on to Billy Joel's Greatest Hits. And then I did America's Greatest Hits and Bread's Greatest Hits. Because, like I said, this one took forever to do. But I hope it still plays well. But that is why this threw down so many different artists. Well, that is it. My glass awaits. I'm thirsty. So cheers to you and to the movies. So until next time, be well, be good, and I'm gone. I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening to The Cinema Judge.